we have another guest that I'm very happy to have here, um, and so we're going to be having guests coming throughout the show for the next 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'll be going until noon, and then we will have Bankley Thompson. We'll be doing some great interviews then. Um, but I am honored to have the president of the University of Detroit Mercy, Antoine Garibaldi. And I pronounced that right? All right. Is it Garibaldi? Is it strong G or? All right. All right. We got. All right. Now we got you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing
Great.
great. Great to see you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Um, I love what the university is doing right now, just in the just the neighborhood surrounding the University of Detroit. Uh, what do we call it? There's so many names I had. Some of I know a lot of people who graduated when it was a different name, um, but the neighborhood around there seems to really be what could be considered a sort of a starting point, um, a model for what we can do in neighborhoods. And of course, that's the 6 Mile and Livernois area, or as Livernois, as some people call it. Could you explain how the university got involved in that?
Well, before I came to the university in 2011, June of 2011, the university was involved in a program called University Commons. So there was a relationship between business and residents and the university. Marygrove College was also a part of it. And then it went dormant for a little while. Unbeknownst to me, when I came, I really focused in on the neighborhood. People call it by lots of different names. They'll
Yeah,
Livernois 6 Mile. They'll call it the Livernois McNichols Corridor.
yeah,
But pretty much everyone kind of defines it as that particular area as opposed to the whole strip of Livernois between the Lodge and 8 Mile,
yeah,
which they happily refer to as the, um, the Avenue of Fashion.
yeah, yeah,
So, so when I came, one of the things that I certainly noticed right from the very, very beginning was the fact that we really needed to work on improving the outlook of that particular neighborhood. So the median really
yeah,
did not look very, very pretty. The lights were, for the most part, off rather
yeah,
than on. And there were a lot of really exterior infrastructure items that needed to take place.
yeah,
And I say that because that really is the gateway of the university. If you get off the lodge, I was leaving downtown, living downtown, my wife and I, for the first 14 months. The first thing that you saw once you get off the lodge was, a not very
yeah,
pretty exit and the like. And I knew if you're going to try to recruit students and also bring
yeah,
alumni back, you really needed to spend some time on that. So I was had the good fortune of talking to some individuals from the Urban Land Institute,
yeah,
met with a
yeah,
number of neighbors, also called folks at the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, talked to Mayor Bing, whom I got to know and know some of his friends in
yeah.
Washington, D.C. that he grew up with. And I just said, we're going to be working on this. Don't know where the money's going to come from,
Right.
but it really was very important. Happily, at this meeting, my first day on the job was June 1, 2011, here at the Mackinac
Oh,
Policy
okay.
Conference.
Yeah.
Met Rip Rapson. We both have Minneapolis connections. I'm a University of Minnesota graduate. Still have friends back in the Twin Cities. He was the deputy mayor there.
Oh, nice.
Many friends of his are
Yeah.
friends of mine. And we just began an informal conversation about saying, I'd love your help, whatever you could do, learn more about what was happening in Midtown and the
Yeah.
like. And then, he said, with Laura Trudeau, Wendy Jackson, said, be happy to help you. And we really began to talk about small things,
Yeah.
doing small things, and then gradually move to the point that 3 years ago we got to the establishment of Live Six Alliance
Yeah.
as an economic development organization. So a lot of work went through that. The bankruptcy interceded, but nevertheless, the work that we did with the civic engagement of the neighbors, the great resource that we have at the University of the Detroit Collaborative Design Center, the DCDC, with Dan Patera and his staff over these last almost 25 years now, were really very, very helpful in really getting people together and talking about some things that we really needed to do to improve the appearance
Yeah.
of the neighborhood and then getting people together to talk about it. So we're very pleased at where we are, and
Yeah.
now we've got the leadership up. Lauren Hood was the first director.
Yeah,
Cecily King
yeah,
has taken over the last 6 months, and we're moving very forward. The university is contributing some of the money
yeah.
to some of these improvements, but the largest share of the improvements and the financial support has come from the Kresge Foundation.
Oh wow.
And we've been very, very fortunate. JP Morgan Chase has
Yeah.
also been contributing some funds. Benjamin Kennedy from Kresge is a member of the board, as well as Tasha Tabron, and I serve as the chair of the board, and it's really established as a 501c3.
And Kresge seems so involved in economic development, which is I sometimes wonder what we'd be able to do without them.
Absolutely.
They do a very good job. Uh, this area too, I mean, the changes are dramatic, and I know Laura Hood. Laura, and she's done a phenomenal job. I haven't met the new director. Um, how how can is there a way somebody can go online? Is there a website where people could see what new and exciting is going on there?
Absolutely. If they pull up Live Six Alliance, they'll come Live Six Alliance Detroit.org and find it very, very quickly. It really describes a lot of the different things that are underway. I should begin by saying that we started with four primary um, goals:
Yeah.
placemaking, neighborhood stabilization, business attraction and retention, and safety and security. Those goals really evolved out of some of the work of architecture students in the Master's of Community Development program, and that's now about 12 years old. And one of the things that they did many years ago was, well, not too long ago now, is they interviewed the neighbors in the Fitzgerald neighborhood around Martin Park,
Yeah.
around Pilgrim Village,
Sure.
and said, what are the primary needs? And certainly people wanted to have some engagement, so that's the placemaking aspect of it. They wanted to be involved in stabilizing the neighborhood so that people would stay. So fortunately, we have now the Fitz Forward neighborhood, the Fitz Forward project,
Yeah.
which Century Partners is working on. The city is very actively engaged in that. That's a combination of $4 million from the Knight Foundation, another $4 million from the Kresge Foundation, and then some additional contributors. And we're also able to bring some of the business owners together to talk about what can they do in order to bring back some of the retail establishments along along McNichols,
Yeah.
pretty much between Wyoming and Livernois. Those are really the designated areas that we're looking at. So if you go online to see Live Six Alliance, you'll see that some of the staff are doing things on the Saturday, for example. There's a little market every other Saturday during the summertime,
Oh, great.
where some of the vendors and prospective business owners bring their pop-ups as well. And then there are a lot of opportunities for people to come together to talk about some of the needs and some of the things that we're trying to really move forward. So
That's
a lot's going to happen this summer, and
yeah.
the Live Six, the Fitz Forward project, has really developed the park.
Yeah.
Earl Fitzgerald Park as one example.
Well, I wish I could talk to you all day on this because this is a very exciting project. But we're talking to the president of University of Detroit Mercy, Mr. Garibaldi. Really appreciate what you're doing. Hopefully, we can use that as a model in the rest of the 139 square miles. It's an honor to have you. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
stopping
much,
by.
Steve. Appreciate it very
Best
much.
of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.